Well, good morning, YouTube, or evening, or whatever. I got myself a new little setup here. Yep, we're getting kind of fancy. A little too fancy for me, but nevertheless. Got a 27 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Sport with a 3.6 in it. Complaint is we obviously got a check engine light, gas cap loose, message on, pulse to the right. There is a highway speed shake as well, over 55, and an oil smell / leak. So obviously I did a quick code scan, and you can see the code we're dealing with is a small, very small leak in our evap system. Okay, there's only 43,000 on this one, and I checked the oil sticker. 300 miles more and they'll be due for their change. So just some quick visuals that I did under the hood. Nice Jeep, good engine in my opinion. Everyone has their own opinions on the 3.6, but I like them. So if we take a look down here by our oil filter cap, right, this is our oil filter adapter, and if we take a leak, I'm going to try to do my best to get you guys down in there so you guys can see this. Now, this is a very common problem with this engine. A lot of guys and gals out there know about this. Let me see if I can zoom in here, and I will show you. Now, you got to be careful when you're looking at these, because people, a lot of times oil will get spilled down in the valley here when they do an oil change. But if you look, let's see here, you'll see that little pool of oil right there. Hopefully my camera will zoom at some point in its lifetime. But where they like to leak is obviously where the gaskets are. Now if you take a look right, oh boy, I'm trying my best here, guys. If you take a look right down there where it kind of meets the engine, you'll see that it's wet there. There is an updated adapter assembly for these, okay? And the intake has to come off, obviously. Now, I've never done one on one of these Jeeps with it inline instead of being a Traverse engine like in the minivans and whatnot. But the concept's the same. So I've already checked all the fluids. Everything looks really good. Again, we only have 43,000 on it. Oil's not low. It looks like they may have done a Mobile 1 full synthetic on it, which is good. And these take 520. No, they don't call for synthetic in these engines, but I don't know. I'm a firm believer in running synthetic in modern engines. So coolant level's not low. And that's pretty much it. The only other thing I did notice is there is some oil coming from the fresh air breather that goes to our air box, and you can see our air filter is getting dirty, but you can see where the oil is kind of accumulating on the oil filter. Now this one isn't horrible, but it usually is an indication that you got a little bit of a PCV breathing issue, but it's not horrible. So I guess one of the other things I wanted to show you guys, not that you can see it on camera, but these tires are just chopped out really bad. It looks like we're running some KOs. Oh yeah, nice tires. Unfortunately, this one is feathered and chopped really bad. Now this could be an alignment issue, guys, or this could just simply be due to a lack of rotation. Okay, if you're running synthetic oil changes, just have it changed every oil change. You know, I run my vehicle, I have a mini, you know, obviously I have a van with the 3.6, and I run full synthetic, and I just rotate my tires every time I do an oil change, every 5,000 miles, okay? But nevertheless, we're gonna lift this up and we're gonna do a complete vehicle inspection. Now, due to the fact that these tires are chopped out as bad as they are, my suggestion obviously is going to be to rotate them to the rear. I'm not going to be able to get rid of the noise that you can hear from them, or guarantee that this is going to wear out, without replacing the tires. But these are not cheap tires, so the backs aren't too bad. So what I'm thinking of we're going to do, once we're done with our inspection, shake everything down, check brakes, check for other leaks. We'll just do an alignment check on it quick and see where we're at. Okay. Now, with this suspension, this is a straight axle, right? With coil over, so it's got spring over a straight axle. Okay. So the way to check these properly is we're gonna have an assistant jump up in there, start it up, and shake the wheel side to side, right, with that sound effect. It actually makes that sound, right? And we'll feel all the joints, as well as the I don't know if you can see it, but there's a track bar. Okay, we're gonna check all of that while they shake it on the rack, just to see if there's any play. And the reason I do straight axle, the reason I suggest doing straight axles this way is because everything's loaded, everything's as it is going down the road. Okay, so it's the best way I've found to check them. And then once we jack up the front axle, we'll check our ball joints simply by using a bar. Now, a certain amount of play in these ball joints on these straight axles is acceptable by factory standards, but obviously once it gets excessive, that's when you need to start worrying. We'll need to check them axle U-joints as well. Not that they're going to be worn out or anything, but we'll check them. So let me get an assistant. We'll start shaking everything down, and I'm not going to film that, guys, just because it's going to be too hard for me to film it. So let me finish my inspection, and then we'll go from there. I guess one more thing I forgot to mention. When you have a very small evap leak code and you see the gas cap message, okay, that automatically comes on with a usually it'll come on when you have a very small leak. Now, don't go touching the gas cap, okay? Leave it as is, because if you do have a leak from this gas cap, and you go messing with it, you're gonna throw yourself for a loop, okay? Just a suggestion. Don't touch things. Leave everything as is. Okay. So we're just gonna do a quick under vehicle inspection. Now, I've already shook these U-joints, and I don't see any excessive amount of movement in them. The axle seals, the inner axle seals, which live in by the pumpkin here on these, don't appear to be leaking or anything. Again, we only got 43,000 on it. When I had my assistant come in to shake the steering system back and forth, right? I didn't feel any ridiculous amount of play in the tie rods. There was a little movement in this outer, and a little movement in our drag link, if you will, because on these, you guys, this adjusts the toe. All you're concerned with is total toe on these, okay? So you adjust your total toe here by loosening up the sleeve, right? And then once total toe is where you want it, then you adjust your steering wheel. So if we do this alignment, I'll do my best to show you guys how to do it, because some people really struggle doing alignments on straight axles, and I don't know why. Maybe because they never were taught properly, I don't know. Okay, so I don't see any major oil leaks under here. I'm just kind of taking a look at the sides of the block to see if oil is draining from the valve covers down onto our exhaust. But it's pretty dry as far as I can see. I don't see any major oil leaks on the valve covers per se. However, usually on these, where you'll get the oil leak from that adapter, that oil filter adapter is above it'll come out the back side of the valley of the engine, and it'll come down over the transaxle and then kind of pool up down here. So this one's not too bad. What I'm thinking is happening is because of that oil sitting in the valley, as the engine heats up, they're smelling it. Okay. The other thing we need to look at is those. This front drive shaft has this joint here, and I'll look up the official name of those joints. I always forget. But anyways, that boot in there likes to tear. Okay, and I'm talking about that rubber where the drive shaft goes into that coupler. Okay, it likes to tear and then sling grease everywhere. But this one looks good, so let's take a look at the rear. Yeah, everything looks pretty good back here, as far as I can see. Here is our charcoal canister. Again, I'm not touching anything. Now, this is a Chrysler or whatever, or Jeep, and that is, this has the NVLD system in it. Go watch some EVAP videos from, I think Becker, yeah, Mike Becker. I'll put a link in the description. Has a lot of good training on YouTube about these systems, okay? So check that out. Really smart guy, Mike Becker. Yeah, so it snowed again today. Unbelievable. Anyways, everything looks pretty good. We'll check the driveline fluids, obviously, if we service it. So it's looking like we're just gonna have to do that oil filter adapter. So let me get it jacked up. We'll get the wheels peeled, take a look at the brakes and everything, and the ball joints, and then kind of go from there. So here you can visually see how chopped them tires are. See it? See all the cupping and chopping going on in this tire. Okay? Pretty bad. Now what are you looking for, Paul?
You don't question Paul's method.
Oh, Paul has the method.
I have a what?
Are you cleaning my garbage again, Paul?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to do something.
Someone's got to take out my trash.
I know.
I have a lot of trash, Paul.
Trash over here.
Oh, Paul.
He's your trash.
You got to learn to play nice.
Oh, I am. That's why I'm saying nice. How to look at evil.
You got wheel locks on this thing? Sure do. We got a wheel lock. Oh, them ball joints are good. Another one of them joints. Alright, so just quick. We're just gonna give her a up and down for a bearing play or anything like that. Still give her a side to side. Spin the wheel. It feels pretty good. So what I did is I put a pry bar underneath the tire and I lift up on it. I lift up on it and I push down on it to feel for that up and down movement in those ball joints, and these are nice and tight. So lack of rotation. It probably does need an alignment. We'll, like I said, we'll check it, but there's no excessive movement in anything that stands out to me. So don't forget about the rear. Always shake down the rear now. When you're dealing with these straight axle rear ends. When you're dealing with these straight axle rear ends, you want to make sure that you feel for the the axle, right? You got your axle in there, and then there's a bearing and a seal. You just want to push up. You want to kind of pull up and down to feel those rear bearings to see if they got a lot of wear in them. This one's not bad. There's going to be a little movement. That's normal. But when it gets excessive, it's time. And usually you'll have wheel seal leaks or axle seal leaks at that point, but this one don't feel bad. Alright, let's check the other side. Alright, so I found the wheel lock. I think before I rotate these, or remove the wheels to check out the brakes, I want to do a quick alignment check, because I'm going to have my tire guy go ahead and check the balance on these while I'm finishing up the write-up. So I'm going to drop this down, I'm going to set the heads and do a quick alignment check, okay? And then we'll go from there, alright? Alright, we got a slapper in neutral. Just gonna bring it forward. We're gonna do a quick comp. And what I mean by a quick comp is I don't need to do a 3-point comp. On older alignment machines, you used to have to do a 3-point comp on every wheel. On these newer ones, you can just clamp your heads, literally roll them forward, and you're gonna get your toe and your camber measurements just by rolling forward. Old school, you would have to go 45 back to straight up, and then 45 forward, and then back to straight up. That was the old way of doing it. Okay, so let me center my plates. So these turn plates, we just want them, we want the dot, center on the tread, both sides, and then we'll set the heads. All right, let me grab the heads and start mounting them. Every alignment machine is different, but they're all the same concept. So I don't know about y'all, but I love doing alignments. Gravy. So when I get to do them, it's a treat. Not everything has to be scopes and electrical. To have an appreciation for what you do in this business. For some guys, that's their passion, their love. For me, I like everything. You gotta appreciate the simple things in life and in your career. Don't be afraid to tackle anything. That's my opinion. Be well-rounded. Because you're never too good for a brake job or an alignment. Yeah, that's right. Some people might disagree with that statement. I really don't care. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Alright, let's set this computer up. Begin alignment. Alright, I gotta type in all this information and get it set up, okay? Alright, real quick, there's our specifications. Okay. So left camber, right camber spec is -25, a quarter of a degree. Alright, and there you can see our cross camber, half a degree. They want 4.2 degrees positive left and right caster, and then total toe, basically a tenth of a degree on both sides for your toe to give a total of 0.20, okay? Obviously the back is not adjustable. We've already mounted the sensors, and it's gonna comp them, and okay. I might have to adjust my head in the back there, so hold on one second. Okay, so the heads The heads are comped and ready for the forward roll. You can see it's pointing forward. So I'm not going to grab the wheels. We're just going to grab this axle and pull it forward onto the plates. And as I pull it forward center, right about there, good enough. There, comped. And you can see our camber angles up at the top, and you can see that our toe has been measured, and then our thrust angle from the rear. Now the rear is not adjustable, but the rear doesn't look too bad, okay? It's never going to be perfect in the back, guys. All right, it's not a big deal. Steering wheel will be adjustable to whatever we need anyways, so a negative thrust angle would mean our steering wheel would be off to the left just a little bit. Not a big deal. Let's measure caster. And what it's telling us is to go ahead and put in the brake pedal and depressor and then steer the wheels as directed, and it's going to measure a caster angle, okay? So we pull our plate pins, okay, both sides, and then when we jump up there, we will not need to lock our steering wheel on this one because, again, steering wheel is adjusted independent of toe. So all we need is a brake pedal depressor, and then we'll just jump up here and measure her out. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and fire this guy up and install this brake pedal depressor, or lock if you will. Alright, she's locked in. Now normally you want to put your blocks in on the back wheels. And that's mainly for safety and so don't roll. I don't usually block them, guys, if I'm doing a four-wheel alignment, because, again, to each their own. A lot of guys like to pull back their back plate pins when they do their back adjustments. I don't. I've shown that in my other alignment video series I did. Why I don't. But to each your own. Alright, so we're ready. Let's go ahead and just gently steer to the left. Now on these, if I want to measure toe out on turns, I can do that. I just got to keep going to the left or the right to measure my toe out on turns, but it's not necessary on most vehicles nowadays. Okay. And then once, I don't sit in the vehicle if I don't have to do that measurement for my caster swing. Alright, so now normally you'd want to lock down and center your steering wheel, right? But this is a straight axle. So, straight axle that has that drag link that independently adjusts the steering wheel. So now let's go down and take a look. I guess we could center it. We'll just center it just to see where we're at. See if our steer ahead's off. And on these, you know, on these types of suspensions and steering systems, I like to find that happy spot. Happy spot. You know, just kind of where there's gonna be a little bit of slop in the gearbox, you know. That's normal. On these newer Jeeps though, they're pretty tight, so that looks pretty good. That's pretty center. So let's take a look and see where we're at. Alright, so you can see here that our toe is off. Our caster looks really good. 4.6, 4.3, a little bit more positive on the right. That's okay. And then camber looks amazing, back and front. A little bit of a thrust angle problem in the back, but not going to worry too much about it. You can see our steer ahead is off, okay? So our steering wheel is not center, and our total toe, okay, here's our toe, our left toe, our right toe. If we look at total toe, you can see it's not at 0.20 where we want it. So we have a crooked steering wheel, and we also have toe that's out, so this does in fact need an alignment, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to print. Actually, I don't want this one, so let me cancel that. We're gonna print an analysis is what we're gonna do. So let me go back. Yeah, here you can see most of your angles. You know, so if you're worried about something being bent, you can see your steering angle axis, inclination angle, your cross SAI, your total, you know, it gives you all your angles. Kind of nice. If I want to look at virtual view, that would be again this, and that kind of shows you how the wheels are actually how they are based on, you know, the specs, or based on the measurements, I'm sorry. So you can see the wheels are actually, this is how they're sitting off to the right. And the total toe, which would be the distance from the distance from here to here, guys, or center line to center line, is not where it wants to be. It needs to be equal, okay? Do your studying if you're doing alignments. Learn how to do them. Learn what the values mean. Learn what the angles mean. I guess I should show you guys this real quick. So if I go into illustrate adjustments, it's telling me how to adjust caster in the front. So if you did need to adjust caster, it's basically telling you need to install a lower control arm eccentric kit. Now some of them come with it and some of them don't. Where the hell did my light go here? Why am I always losing my flashlights? Okay. Right here. So I don't know if you can see that. You see those little tabs? Okay, these do not have eccentrics installed. But since we don't have a camber issue or a caster issue, I'm not worried on the front, okay? Yeah, no front camber adjustment is recommended because we have a straight axle that would require a frame shop to bend it. So here it's telling you loosen the adjustment clamp sleeve A, okay? That's this one. And it's telling you, you know, adjust your total toe, and then adjust your drag link adjuster sleeve so that the left and right toe values are equal and the steering wheel straight, tighten clamp to your specification, okay? So we're gonna sell this alignment, I'm sure, so I'm gonna show you guys how to do that, okay? So there you go. That's the alignment procedure. Now when you do your print, your printout with the analysis, it's going to tell you that the steer head recommended procedure is steer head front, so the steer head needs to be adjusted, okay? But we can see that our total toe, it's still in spec, but it's going to be right on the money when we're done, okay? Yeah, I have a cordless impact. I don't feel like listening to that rattle trap and nonsense. Quiet. Nice and quiet. And it ain't tweaking my arm all over. Don't get me wrong, I like cordless, but some days I don't want to hear it. Alright, let's take a look at these brakes. I doubt it's going to be due for brakes, but it's got 40 grand on it. Yeah, these look pretty good. Rotors look good. You know, nothing out of the ordinary there. Let's see what the back ones look like. Those look pretty good. Inboard pad is starting to wear a little harder than the outboard. Probably a little bit of rust jacking going on in the brackets. These are original brakes, obviously. You can still see the clips on the factory clips on the rotors. So let me take a peek at the other side and we'll be done. We'll be done. We can write this thing up, get these tires over to our tire guy. I haven't done a set of hoops in so long. Guess I'm the tire guy today. Customer decided to go with all four. Not as fast as I used to be, but understandable, given I don't do them very often. I forgot that our tire guy is out. Knee surgery. Tag, I'm it.
Hey, Charlie. Moving too fast.
Moving too fast. Oh, Mark jokes.
And the last one, wait.
Just kidding. I haven't done a set of tires in so long. It's been over a year.
Have you used this machine before? All good. That's a goofy.
I've used so many tire machines, Mark.
I've never used one. That's the goofiest thing I ever used.
I've never liked the handle type.
No.
I always like the pedal
It's
type.
much better. Yeah, it's.
Because this smacks your hand.
Yeah. I didn't care for that. And
But I mean, it's a nice machine.
I don't understand. Why don't you keep your
Oh, yeah. That one?
You always talk to yourself.
I have problems. What's wrong with this guy? The tire isn't over a year.
Like riding a bike other than something.
Yeah, you never lose it. Just not as fast as I used to be.
I did it for Heartland for a long time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Ah, beautiful. Here's one. Let's just seal that right away. Make sure you slobber that all over your sensors. No, don't do that. All right. dry. Mount it up when it's wet. Defeats the purpose. Yep, that's right. Enough of my blood. I know, for those of you youngins out there, don't be taking the wire wheel to them if they don't got a lot of corrosion, because you're just creating a problem. Leave the coating of the rim on there. Alright. Time for some new valve stems. Once we're done with that, we'll be ready to rock and roll with mounting. So, we're going to take all of our sensors off. Then we're going to grab the pliers and we're going to yank every one of them out.
He told you that ram's here, right? I'm sure he did, but
Oh, the next one?
yeah,
Okay.
that guy's waiting in the lounge. So
All right,
give me a heads up.
I'll get on that.
Thanks.
Alright. Here's my valve stem puller. Stock number 20018. Snap-in valve. That's the one. Alright. She needs a little lube to go in. There you go. She's lubed. Grab a hold of her. Now don't be wrecking the threads. Light pull. And it's in. And some of you might be like, I wouldn't put that in my mouth if I were you. Well, that ain't the worst thing I've had in my mouth. Ah, jokes. Don't stand on the rims, you'll scratch them. They ain't scratched. All the valve stem or valve cores out right away, so we can seat the beads. Everything gets done in a system, so you don't forget things. Because I got another one to go look at. There you have it. Now obviously if it was a really nice rim we'd be clamping from the outside. This clamping on the inside is not going to hurt nothing. And we're ready for mounting and balancing. Ta-da! Alright, we're back on the Jeep. I didn't show you guys the mounting or the balancing. Another tech here had to knock that out because I had another diagnosis I had to do on that Ram. I might just incorporate it all into one video, I don't know yet. But it is what it is. So we're back on here. So let's get to it. I've already re-rolled it and recomped everything. So let's lift it up and start setting this toe. All right, so we're gonna start out by loosening up this sleeve. Let me lubricate all that. I'm hoping I don't have to grab the torch, but I might have to. So we'll see how she wants to move. For what it's worth, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a hammer. We're just gonna give her a few love taps on both sides so that it jars that rust loose. Not for me. Is it a 15? It is, but I need a D. Alright. Grab a pry bar. I'm just going to spread that clamp a little bit. Good enough. Grab a hold of that. Spread her a little bit. There we go. All right. We're gonna have to loosen up the steering stabilizer so that that bracket can move freely on there. Because this whole sleeve is gonna twist. Let's take that loose. That'll work. This is gonna be our adjusting tool. And we'll grab her right in here. We get a good bite. That'll work. All right, now, hopefully this thing will move. So let's set this up. So what we want to do is we're going to go to our bar graphs. Show bar graphs. All right, so you can see our total toe. Everything is different right now. So what you want to do is you're going to come in here to where you got your toe, okay? And we're going to push or turn this right wheel until our right spec is where we want it. And it's going to move the steering wheel, and that's okay. Right there. Okay. So you can see our right toe is in 0.10 where we want it. Now we just got to tweak it until we get our left toe where we want it. So, oh yeah, she's probably not going to want to move. Hold on. We'll see if it wants to move or not. Let's see how difficult it wants to be. Oh yeah, she is tight. Let me try grabbing her out a little ways here. We'll go right here in the middle. Get her moving first. Oh yeah. Nice. Oh yeah, this is Definitely gonna need some heat. Oh yeah. Alright. It's gonna be one of those. I grab the torch. Oh, where's your striker? Right here. Yep.
You never take a torch to the field.
Oh, I'm taking a torch. Well, these things, they just, I mean, it just, they rust so solid.
Yeah. I mean,
You're not going to adjust these without heat.
you hope you don't have to move them very much.
This one just needs to be tweaked just a little bit because the total is out. Oh, she's moving, Mark.
No.
Look at
Yes,
that.
look at
Look
that.
at that son bitch move.
And I told them, and I said, I'm not trying to pick.
All right, so it's moving. So now we're gonna cool the tie rods down. You heat something, you gotta cool it down because of expansion and contraction. We'll cool down this sleeve. Oh, she is hot. Oh yeah, come on in, baby. Alright guys, so you can see our total toe looks pretty good. Well, you have to add the two together, and that's right where we want to be. So let me keep cooling this down, and you'll see the change. Alright. You can see already it's moved a 100th of a degree on the left side. That's the side I'm cooling down completely right now. I'll cool her down. Let's get the right side. In Minnesota and other states that use salt and rust and everything else, you know, all the rust and all the crap we have to deal with, this is pretty much standard operating procedure when you're doing alignments. That's why the torch always lives by the alignment rack. Alright, she's all cooled down. That looks pretty damn good. So if we push that right side back to 0.10, or tap it to 0.10. Alright, we're a little tight on our left side, so we're going to make a couple more adjustments here. It's going to move both sides, so don't be worried. Oh, we might need a bar. A little more, right there. Not too much. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to give the old tap to the right. 0.08 on the right, 0.15, 0.06, 0.17. So we're tight on our toe. Now, can't get any better than that. So, yeah, that's about as good as we're gonna get. I ain't messing with it. So let's look at that total toe. It should be what, 0.22? Which which is pretty damn much right on the money, guys. And you can see our steer head's at 0.01. Now, it doesn't mean our steering wheel's straight. Ignore that camber. It's not an issue. All right, so at this point, before we tighten anything down, we are going to redo our caster swing. First, we're going to flip our sleeve up. All right, so don't go tightening anything down yet. Let's redo our caster swing. Not bounce her a little bit. Okay, so same deal. We're gonna turn our right wheel till she's in spec. Now I'm okay with that. That toe is nice and tight, right? Because 0.20 is max, so a little tighter on the toe is okay. And I mean, like I said, these outers, they got a smidgen of play in them, but it ain't a lot. So having her nice and tight like that is gonna be perfect. And we're only talking 0.02 of a degree from 0.10, so it ain't nothing. All right, so let me tighten down this tie rod. Yeah, that's perfect. All right, so now that our toe is where we want it, we're gonna take a look at our steering wheel, and you can see it's off to the left just a little bit, okay? Now you could put an assistant in here to watch it, but we're gonna turn her to the right a little bit with the drag link, so let me get that loosened up. All right, again, for what it's worth. All right, 15s. Alright, so that moved our steering wheel. Now turn it to the right, it's going to go to the right. Now right as in looking at it, to the right is steering wheel to the right. To the left is to the left, usually, on most of them. Alright, let's see where we're at. Now we're not going to tighten down those those sleeves on that drag link until we test drive it. You can see we're off to the right a little too much, okay? Now, if you're worried and you want to double check while you're on the rack, just fire it up and center it. And you'll know if you got her dang close, because your toe will be right where it needs to be, okay? And your steer head will be at 0. So that's pretty center right there. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to go to the left a little. But we'll adjust her on the fly on the test drive, guys. That's how I do them, generally. Yeah, we're off to the right a little too much. So all I'm doing is I'm just tapping. We're gonna tap the wheel just till we get to that 0.13 again. So I'm gonna tweak it. This one's moving nice. So I'm going to tweak it back to the left a little bit. Just a little bit. Right there. And then I'll move these sleeves down, okay? Alright, so I got them set up so that I can tighten them up with the ratchet on the test drive. I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to get crazy on the test drive. And then I tightened down the steering stabilizer nice and center again. This one's tight. We're going to hit it with some of Eric's famous fluid film, okay? Because that stuff is amazing. And yeah, I never knew about the stuff until Eric talked about it. And they should be sending that guy a lot for the amount of promotion he put out for them. Now we're gonna have some gnarl marks in here from our pipe wrench. Not a big deal. We'll smooth that out, clean it up, and I'll hit it with some black paint. You won't even notice it. And to be honest with you, it's all gonna be rusty anyways, so we'll fix it. It's the only thing you can do because they get so rusted up, all right? So it's test drive time. Alright, well, I don't know how well I'm really going to be able to show this, but I just got done tightening up the drag link after driving it down a straight piece of road, and the steering wheel's fine on this. I mean, I didn't have to adjust it any. Let me get back out on this straight piece of road here. And then I got to take it on the highway. Get it up to highway speeds, make sure our shakes are gone. Any vibrate, you know, the pulling and the vibrations and all that. So this is about as straight as road as we got here. And you can see that the steering wheel is, you know, it'll be off to the left, then off to the right a little, then off to the left, then off to the right a little. So that's it's about as good as you're gonna get on these types of steering systems, right? So that's why I always wait until after I'm done with the alignment and I go on my test drive to tighten up my drag link, because that way if it's off a little bit to the left or the right, I can make my adjustments on the fly, you know. So that looks good. Alignment's, I mean, it drives nice and straight. You let go of the steering wheel. I mean, it's gonna slowly drift to the right. That's what it should do. Every car will slowly drift to the right. You know, in case you fall asleep at the wheel. 'Cause you ain't gonna go into oncoming traffic, right? And the natural crown of the road will push you to the right of the road. So I'm good with it. I can live with this. I'm gonna take it out on the highway now and make sure my shakes are gone. Well, we're going a little over 70 miles an hour, and I've got no shake. So I'm good with this. I'm calling it a day. It's good. It's a fix. Now the only thing is the customer didn't want to go ahead and address the check engine light, the 456 small leak code. So is what it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.